If you are thinking about picking one up, I just want to walk you through my experience, because I have been using it in my own pool and I have a pretty clear sense of what it does well, and where it still feels a little imperfect. At a basic level, this is a cordless robotic cleaner that you drop into the pool, let it do its thing, and then pull it out to empty the filter basket. It is for people who are tired of doing the regular routine of brushing, vacuuming, and skimming, or for people who already do those things but want to cut the time down and keep the pool looking consistently clean between deeper clean days. If you have trees nearby, if your pool gets a film at the waterline, or if you just do not want to babysit a cord, that is the kind of situation where a cleaner like this actually makes sense. What made it interesting to me, compared to the older robots I have used, is that it is trying to handle more than just the floor. In real use, that matters because the pool does not get dirty in one place. Leaves and seeds settle, dust and algae cling to walls, and the waterline gets that stubborn ring from sunscreen and whatever else ends up in the water. I wanted one device that could handle the normal mess without me constantly swapping tools or dragging out a pole. In person, it looks clean and modern. The color is an emerald green that stands out without looking loud, and the overall shape looks more like a piece of equipment than a toy. When I picked it up the first time, I honestly noticed the weight right away. It is not something I would call light. I had a moment where I wondered if that would make it annoying to pull in and out of the water, but the handles are in the right places, and once you know how to grab it, it feels manageable. I also prefer that it feels solid. I have used lighter cleaners that feel like they get pushed around by water movement, and I would rather deal with a bit more weight if it means the cleaner stays planted and does not bounce off every little curve. Setup was simple. I charged it, opened the app, and put it in the pool. There was no assembly step where I felt like I needed a tutorial, and I did not have to sit there reading instructions for an hour. In daily life, that matters, because pool maintenance is already a list of chores. I do not want the cleaner itself to become another project. The app is straightforward. I am not someone who wants to control every little detail every time, but I do like being able to pick a mode and see what it is doing. The way I ended up using it most often was choosing the type of cleaning I wanted that day, starting it, then checking in later to see where it had been. There is also a manual control option, and I did use that a couple times when I noticed one corner had extra debris. It is not something I use every run, but it is nice when you do not feel like waiting for the robot to eventually wander over there. One of the first things I noticed during my early runs was how quiet it is. I am used to hearing pool equipment, even from inside the house, and I am used to cleaners making a kind of constant hum or a rough sound when they hit the wall. This one is much more subtle. I could sit outside, talk, read, or take a call, and I was not distracted by it. If you care about the backyard being a relaxing space, that is not a small detail. Navigation was another thing I watched closely because my pool is not a simple rectangle. There are curves, a deep end that drops off sharply, and steps that have trapped past cleaners in the most annoying way. This one uses sensors and a camera to map the pool. I can see the map in the app, and I have watched it change the way it moves depending on where it is. On the floor, it tends to settle into a consistent back and forth pattern, and when it goes up the wall, it stays close and stable instead of drifting off at an angle. It is not perfect, and I want to be honest about that. I did have one situation where it got hung up near my stairs. It did not take much to fix. I just gave it a gentle nudge and it kept going. It has not been a constant problem, but it happened, and if your pool has tricky steps or odd ledges, you should expect that you may still have to check on it occasionally. Battery life has been reliable for me. For surface skimming, I have gotten up to around 11 hours of run time, which is more than I personally need in a single day. For cleaning the floor and walls, it has been closer to 5 hours. In practical terms, I can start it in the morning, do other things, and by early afternoon my pool looks noticeably better. Charging takes about 4 hours, and that has been easy to work around. I usually charge it the same day I use it, and it is ready again without me having to plan my whole day around it. The real test for me is debris, because my yard has trees and bamboo nearby. At the start of the season, and on windy days, my pool collects leaves, little seed pods and fine dust that settles to the bottom. I also get that floating layer of small bits that makes the pool look messy even when the water is technically clear. In those conditions, the suction has been strong enough to pick up the normal mix of junk I deal with. It does not feel like it is just pushing debris around. It actually collects it. Emptying it is easy, which matters more than people think. If cleaning the filter is a hassle, you start putting off using the robot. The basket pulls out from the top, I dump it, rinse it, and I am done. I am not fighting clips or trying to shake debris out of a tight corner. I also appreciate that I am not sticking my hands into anything gross. It is a quick rinse and back in. On the scrubbing side, it has done a good job on the floor and walls. After a run, the surfaces feel cleaner, not just visually but when you run your hand along them. It has helped with the early algae film that shows up when the weather changes or when I have been a little late on brushing. It is not a substitute for keeping your pool chemistry in range, but it does reduce how often I feel like I need to manually scrub. The waterline cleaning is where I am the most picky, because that is the line everyone sees. It does go after the waterline, and it has removed a lot of the daily grime that builds up. If you have a heavy, stubborn ring that has been sitting there for a long time, you may still need to do a manual wipe the first time to reset things. But once it is under control, the robot helps keep it from building up again. Surface skimming is useful, but it is also the area where I notice the most inconsistency. On calm days, it collects most of the floating debris, and the pool looks better without me doing anything. When the wind picks up, or when a lot of leaves fall quickly, it can miss some pieces. I would say it gets most of it, but not every last bug or leaf. If I want the surface to look perfect right before guests come over, I still sometimes grab a net for a quick pass. The difference is that now it is a quick touch-up instead of a full chore. Something I did not think I would care about, but I ended up really appreciating, is how it parks itself. When it is done, or when the battery is getting low, it comes to the nearest wall and rises so I can grab it without hunting around underwater. That makes the whole experience feel smoother. I have owned cleaners where the end of the cycle meant walking around the pool trying to spot where it died, then reaching in awkwardly to pull it out. Over time, the way I have used it has become pretty routine. If the pool looks mostly fine, I run a shorter clean just to keep things steady. If I have had a windy day, I run a longer cycle and let it handle the bottom and walls. If I notice buildup at the waterline, I choose a setting that focuses more there. I like having those options without the app being complicated or feeling like I am programming a robot every time. So overall, my impression is that it is a practical tool that saves me time and keeps my pool looking consistently clean with less effort from me. It feels well built. It is easy to set up. The app is simple enough that I actually use it, and the cleaning results are good in the situations I deal with most, like leaves, fine debris, and the normal grime that builds up through the week. The limitations are worth saying out loud. It can still get stuck once in a while around tricky stairs. Surface skimming is helpful but not perfect, especially in wind. And it is heavy enough that you will notice it when lifting it out, even though the handles make it manageable. None of those have been deal breakers for me, but they are the kind of real things you only learn after living with it. I will update specific information about the Beatbot AquaSense 2 Pro Cordless Robotic Pool Cleaner in the comments. Don't forget to catch my next video.